is involved with training and logistics. So what we're doing is we're helping the sites get ready for their implementation training of Epic. So this all starts, just to give you a little bit of background, this all starts about 8 months before training begins. So back in April, we were starting to get to know the sites a little bit, sort of understand like where they were in the process of thinking about how they were going to start delivering this training. So before any users have been mapped to their training roles, meaning before they understand how much of their population is going to need nursing training in Epic, how much of their population is going to be doing inpatient provider, revenue cycle. So before even that, we're trying to understand what their training spaces are going to look like. So eventually, once they've mapped all of their users to these roles, we now know, based on that population, how many training rooms they're going to need. So for example, the site that we're working with now, North Shore, they have about 25 training spaces. So this ranges from 8-seater rooms to 25-seater rooms. So fast forward a little bit to 4 months in, they've already begun building their training spaces. Whether these are existing training spaces and they're just like making sure that it's going to meet all of training needs, or when they're actually like putting up walls of sheetrock and they're just starting from scratch building these training spaces. So fast forward 4 months, like I said, we're going to start talking about their front desk staffing support. So every training space, they're going to, for the most part, they're going to have a front desk where your end user is going to walk in and they're going to need help finding where they're supposed to go. So the front desk support, they're really taking care of printing the rosters for that day's training. I can't tell you how many times an end user has come in for training and they know they're there for Epic training, but they just have no idea what class they're there for. So that's sort of what that Wayfinder is for. They're there to just help direct them and figure out where they need to be. So depending on how much staff you feel that you want to hire to cover that space, we do recommend that you do have someone designated for training at the start at 8 a.m. for when classes begin, and then for your afternoon classes, so between noon and 1, just to help people understand where they need to be. Another responsibility of the front desk staff is to, in case you have any people that are coming in that haven't been registering to courses, last minute registrations is huge. We like to think that you wouldn't have a provider just showing up expecting to be able to take a class. They've already been registered, but a lot of times we're working around provider schedules because they're so jam-packed. So last minute registrations is huge, going into HealthStream and registering this user into class. So that is another big thing, to have someone there at the front desk. If the class is at capacity, handing out laptops, student laptops, that's another big thing, checking those in and out. So we do recommend to have 2 to 3 people at the front desk. They don't have to be there all the time, but just to take care of any ad hoc issues that come up during training, like if a computer goes down, opening a ticket for the instructor, handing out print materials. So another big thing that your front desk staff is going to handle is accepting the print delivery. So this includes the exercise booklets and classroom information sheets for all of the classes taking place that day. So handing out any materials, printing off any extra ones if you do have those last minute walk-ins. So that is some of the main things that your front desk staff will be handling.
All right, you can stand or sit if you want. I can see your name.
I'm sorry.
Alicia, you can go first.
You had great eye contact, and you had a lot of information to share, and I think you were very knowledgeable as well. As far as critiquing, normally do you present off a PowerPoint?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think, again, it's one of those things where it's like you're probably not comfortable because you don't have the information up on a screen like you normally would, so it's just trying to like rethink, okay, where was I? What am I gonna talk about next? Other than that, I think you did great.
I like your voice, it's very soothing, you were calm, I like the tone of your voice through the whole presentation. It was very informative. Again, I think that everyone here has so much information to provide that, it's difficult to condense that in just 4 minutes. But you did a great job just telling, exactly what the information that you want to provide, so timing was excellent. To critique, maybe if you move more around, that will help you.
I was trying not to move too much.
Yeah.
Good eye contact, good pace, like very knowledgeable. At one point, you kind of just were leaning on the table. It distracted me. I was like, she's gonna follow. That table has wheels. So that was our only thing where I was just like, oh, the table's gonna move and she's gonna follow. But it was a good presentation though.
I thought you did really well. The fidgeting, you didn't wear something so you could like play with everything like you did last time. A little bit with your ring maybe. That would be the only way I could tell that you were nervous because your voice was so calming throughout the entire presentation. It's kind of very easy to listen to. And I also, when you came into the room, you like without a thought, you just kind of like moved the chair over and just continued to talk, and you just seemed very at ease. I thought it was really good.
I like the hand placements. You didn't fidget with anything, which was really, really good. You know the material. I do think it's the PowerPoint that you're used to, and that helped out a lot, I think. But overall, I think you did a really good job. I don't think I have anything negative to say.
Your voice was good, and compared to last time, I think you had started out like a little low, and then we could hear you more. Today I could hear you well throughout the thing, so it's been mentioned it's very calming voice also. I like the hand gestures that you did, they helped with the presentation. On the things to work on, there were a couple of pauses that were hard for me. I don't know how it felt on your end, but it was hard to follow.
So Maria mentioned what I was going to say because last week I think you mentioned your voice and I said it was soft-spoken, and you were much louder this week. So, I mean, it was still great. I like your voice. It's just very, like, easygoing, like the kind of voice you hear. And don't take this the wrong way, but you know how when you call and you're put on hold, you know, you have these voices that, we will be with you momentarily. And
I actually called someone and they almost hung up on me because they were like, I thought you were a telemarketer. I was just like introducing myself.
That's funny. But I mean, I think it's that quality of voice. Like you could be the person that, does the scripts for these kinds of things, because people are listening, they're holding, they're getting impatient, and your voice is very soothing, and it's very, we will be with you shortly, that kind of thing. And it was much louder. And I actually liked, Carrie mentioned you didn't fidget, but you did more of, I don't know if it's a good thing or not, what I do, in that you used your fingers as you were making your points. I like those hand gestures.
Yeah, I agree with Julia. I really like the hand gestures. I think it seemed, well, yes, at some points you were playing with your ring, it was a lot less distracted than last week when you were playing with your scarf or the strings or whatever. So I thought you did a really good job with that. I would say the only thing was every once in a while there was an and it kind of seemed like it was in your transitions, which if you had a PowerPoint that maybe would help you a little bit, but that was the only thing.
Same, really good stuff. I thought just something different. You put a little bit of personality in it, like when you, you were like, they don't know where they're going or something like that. Like you did you could tell like you put feeling in your storytelling. One thing that in critique, I think you kind of looked at the back of the room, like the back wall at some points. Like you did have eye contact throughout the room as well, but then I'm curious to see in the video how often you did it, and maybe I just wrote it down at one point when you did it, but you kind of like staring at the top back of the room, not really looking at anybody. So that was one thing.
All right, so good presentation, one. You were definitely, I think, fidgeting less, because you were fidgeting a little bit with your ring. And just be aware of that,
Yeah.
because if you can improve that much from last week to this week, you can even get rid of this. So keep on working on that, but that's like a great improvement. Was she wearing a scarf? What were you talking
She
about?
had like, strings or something to her blouse.
Tassels.
You know, the tassels.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
good.
Yeah.
Don't wear tassels. But definitely, yeah, great improvement and smart dress choice, for that matter.
Power jacket.
Yeah, no, that's really smart. I'm the same as Brenda. I need heels to present, because that just makes me feel powerful and just gives me a good position. Let's see. The one thing about position is I saw you crossing your feet, and I wouldn't do that, because that comes over as a little, not insecure, but that means that you are making yourself a little smaller.
Okay.
Just feet together, hip width apart, or walk around a little bit, but don't cross them. You can also like lose your balance, and then that doesn't look good. But let's see. So eye contact in the beginning a little less, but as the presentation went on, you definitely did that more and more. And I'm gonna piggyback on what you said about the personality thing. Around minute 2, you did the hand gestures and you laughed or you smiled a little bit. Try to incorporate that a little bit more, because you're a sweet presenter, you're a sweet person, and that means you're engaging. And people, and so that means that people will easily listen to you. So if you put some more personality in there, you will like warm people's hearts and you will win them over as an audience. So definitely use what you have. What I want to say about everybody, about PowerPoint presentations, I'm all for it because I love presenting with PowerPoint. Don't lean on it, because the day will come that your laptop will not work. You forget your thumb drive. Stuff doesn't go the way it goes, and then you still have to present. So it's all about trying to get the presentation in your head and know for sure that you can do it without any other stuff. If you're using handouts, if you're not doing a PowerPoint presentation, don't use your cheat sheets. Don't use your handouts. Use cheat sheets, like little cards with a couple of words on them. But that's for everybody who relies on PowerPoint. Definitely a good presentation. Just let your personality shine a little bit, and you'll be good to go. Nice job.